Welcome to The Summit Club, a weekly podcast series where I uncover the stories, the strategies, the pain, and the elation behind the most highly performant people on earth. The Summit Club is based on one simple idea, that in the climb of life, there is no summit. Join me as we interview the very best performers across all human endeavours, as we uncover the tools and templates that they use to maximise their potential in their efforts to get to the summit.
So for the first project today, we have Dark Echelon. This one's been under the radar. This one actually just released. This one I definitely think is going to do well in the long run. I'm going to make sure it does well. Make sure to go follow my Twitter. I'm not going to tell you why. Just go do it.
The best time to do anything or start working on your goals will be right now.
It actually went below mint. Never minted out. I cut the supply just because I was more so embarrassed, and at the same time I did want to start building.
It just starts with execution. So don't wait till tomorrow. Start now and get one step closer to your goals.
Just like, there's my laptop.
A year ago, hundreds of people's lives changed forever with Dark Echelon. Now this year, we're going to be doing the same thing with Dark Labs. A big shift is coming into space. Culture shift, a mentality shift. Be ready.
A proven track record. Make this project a success.
We're trying to make one of the greatest groups of all time. Obviously, it's going to be fucking epic.
Things all being run differently.
Something that he's going to work on.
We're going to show by action, not by words.
Trying new things, trying different things.
You're just being honest and open about what the process is. So shout out to you, man. Everything will work out itself.
He's able to get what he wants. He pushes through those hard times. He becomes smarter and stronger by learning those tough lessons. And that is who we want in Dark Labs, and that is who we have in Dark Labs.
We are going to surprise a lot of people.
We are the dark.
Everything we've ever learned is going to be put into this, and all I can say is that it's going to be fucking epic. We don't give a shit about followers. We're actually taking our time here, looking at the person itself.
Truly persevere to become great.
You have to be able to dip your toes into the space. You have to be able to be a person of value.
And that is why we call people in Dark Labs the elites.
My guest today is Ameer Hussain. Ameer is a YouTube creator from Miami, Florida, the founder of Dark Echelon, which is one of the most successful and notable Web3 alpha communities from 2022. Last week, Ameer launched his latest project that was teased in the NFT space for months, Dark Labs. So I'm excited to hear more about this, where his plans are there. It's been over a year since myself and Ameer first connected. We've got tons of mutual friends within the Web3 space, but a lot of people are kind of moving in different areas now. This is actually the first time we've ever actually met. So Ameer, man, I'm excited to get to know you, mate. Welcome to the Summit Club.
Tom, thank you so much, dude. Thank you for the intro. And I'm really excited to tap into some subjects here. Glad it's not just like a one-dimensional type of conversation here. You broke down to me earlier that we're going to be going over a lot, which is good. So really excited.
Good to hear. I kind of knew that. I saw you did an interview with Cade, one of my good friends, and it was really nice to hear you open up about stuff, because you're a very interesting guy. You have a massive social media following that you curated last year. And yeah, kind of just want to dig into where you think all of this has come from, because the kind of crazy thing about you, how old are you again?
Just turned 20, dude.
I mean, that alone is absolutely insane. So much to kind of pick apart and really get to know you. You're doing a lot of stuff. You're making a lot of moves. You've just explained to me that you're going to be traveling the world, doing some a lot of media, a lot of content stuff. Amazing to hear about that kind of stuff. But paint the picture, man. Where are you right now?
So right now I'm in Miami. This is how I explain it to people that are on the international side. But for people who know about Florida, I'm in this place called Boca Raton, which is this, I guess you could call it an older, wealthy person type of area. You can see a lot of, Ferraris, see a lot of nice things here. Usually older people live here. But there is a college nearby, so you do see a younger crowd. But mainly it's just a really nice, chill area. The suburbs outside of Miami, around 30 minutes north of Miami. So there's a lot of cool things going on here, and yeah, dude, it's a beautiful place.
Have you lived there your whole life?
I've lived around this area for a majority of my life, yes. But then again, I've just been traveling so much, even since I was younger. So I've just been experiencing the world a lot. But yeah, this is my main hub. This is where I tell everyone I live, and I've been living here for forever, basically.
Nice. Can you see yourself living there forever as well?
Honestly, dude, it's either this or Dubai or some type of country with Islamic law or anything in that realm. But yeah, for now, this is really chill here. Miami takes care of its people with money. Miami is pretty chill overall, not too much crime depending on where you live and how you move. But this is a really beautiful area, dude.
Yeah, nice. So I'm gonna hit you with something that I didn't prep you with. Last year was a big year for you, right? I mean,
Very big.
very big. How can you sum it up in 3 words?
Quick exponential growth. That's how I would say it.
Do you know what? Fair play, man. That was very fucking good. I would I can't argue. Like, I followed your story. I followed you as a creator. You've been creating YouTube videos all through last year, and also just in the year before. So I obviously got to see this firsthand. But yeah, man, I can't argue with that. Quick exponential growth. And I can see on your like banner behind you, we've got Dark Echelon. That was your first, at least your first like Web3 business. Is that correct?
Yeah, so this was like my first like real brand slash company, and like we really wanted to move it like brand first approach. So I do treat it as like a brand, like a lifestyle membership. So we treat it as that. A lot of people maybe treat their clubs differently, but we really do treat ours as like a lifestyle and a brand, because that is what it is.
Nice. And can you tell me a little bit about how you started and actually you got into Web3?
Yes, my girlfriend told me this, and she tells me this before every podcast. She's like, Amir, do not say the same shit that you said on the last podcast. Make sure it's different. And I said, okay, we got to keep it interesting for the newer viewers. So how I got into Web3, I was working my office job, before all this, working at the tech companies that I was working at. And someone walks in, they're like, yo, I'm making a fuckload of money through this, NFT shit. I sold it here and there. And I'm like, I've heard of this through like Alex Becker, Elio, I've seen this on YouTube, heard of this stuff. Seen a little bit of things on YouTube here and there, but never actually had like the person interaction of someone telling me like they're making money with this. And I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Like, holy shit. So he starts talking about it. And as he's talking, I'm like writing down notes on this sticky note. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck? This sounds insane. So he's telling me about this, bragging to me, flexing on me. I think he was like a Trinidadian or like a Dominican kid or some shit like that. Was walking into the office to like deliver something in the office, and he's just like flexing and shit. I'm like, oh god, this is crazy. I'm writing down notes, and when I go home, I search it all up, and I'm watching some videos, and I'm getting the concept. I'm like, bro, I can fucking do this. Like, I'm not making like this guy's making like what 5-10K like a day doing this shit. Like, bro, I can do this. That's how much I make in like a month or whatever whatever I'm doing here. So it was super super mind opening knowing that like these pictures and shit, you could just trade this and make a bunch of money. So started to get into a few things, learn about like the bots and like flash bots and like minting bots, nodes and all that, like super super early on, before like anyone knew like really what it is, or maybe some really crypto native people knew what it was, but not really a lot of people were using it. So started to get into that type of stuff, started to get into like little mints here and there, caught a few losses, caught a few wins, and then I hit my first big win probably a couple of weeks in. And then from there I was like, all right, I can actually like quit my job if I do this a couple more times. So from there, made like a bunch of money pretty quickly early on. And then from there, I was like, all right, in October of 2021, I full-time quit my job, quit everything. Bro, I was making like, 6 figures plus at this job that I was working at, but I was like, bro, this is an even bigger opportunity. So I just quit from there. And that's just like kind of how like everything kind of rolled down. And I think I was one of the first people to like just quit everything and go full-time Web3, because I don't think a lot of people in like October of 2021 were like really full-time Web3 yet. So I was full time. Like I like dropped everything and went full time. My whole life was dedicated to Web3 as of October of 2021, which is crazy.
What if you hadn't have gone full time Web3 at that point? Where would you be now?
Dude, the thing is that I was 18, right? I could take risk like that. I knew that I had the skill set to be able to do many different things. I knew I was fine, right? I didn't have a plan B, but I knew I was going to be fine anyways, because I built so many skills throughout that time of me being like 16, 17, 18, working at these tech companies, learning so many different things, knowing how to run stores, ads, this, that. Like, I had no fear in my heart. I was like, bro, like I could do anything and be successful. Like I'll be fine. Like that was kind of the mindset. So when people say, oh my God, I took a risk, took a leap of faith, Yeah, I mean, you could see it that way on the outside, but like on my like internal side, it's like, bro, like it's fine. And people who have skills see everything that way. They're like, bro, if I lose it all, I'll be fine. I'll make it back. Like, I don't think a lot of people could think that way because they don't really have that skill set. They don't have that confidence in themselves. But it wasn't anything like nerve-wracking or it wasn't anything like that. It was just like, bro, let me take this leap of faith. Let me go ahead and just go all in this. And I was super confident I was gonna make it, and I did.
Fucking A, man. Well done. So I'm going to tell a little bit of a story here about kind of why the reason why I'm here is because I read a book back in 2010. It was called The 4 Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss, and I'm not sure, have you read that?
I've not, but I've just seen I've like what is it called? I've seen like summaries and all that. Like a lot of times I'll go like just read summaries on books just to get the idea. But yeah, keep on going.
Yeah, so 2010, I read this book, and this is a book that came out in 2007. So 2007, imagine, right? The world was completely different. No social media. I mean, social media was MySpace. It was like before Facebook. It was a very, very different world. There weren't platforms. There weren't there weren't the tools that we have these days. And so Tim Ferriss in that book, he was like, this is going to be the start of what I'm going to call like the new rich. So the new rich are people that will be able to have like lifestyle design. They will be able to design their lifestyles around these new tools and services that the internet has provided. And like fast forward, like 15, 20, nearly, it's getting close to 20 years now. And we live in a world where you are just turned 20. When I had just turned 20, I was in my like second year of university, and that was just what everyone did. Again, like no one had these access to these platforms and tools. So to me, you are an absolute prime example of like the person that like Tim was talking about back 15, 20 years ago that was going to happen. It's the new rich. You are one of like many guys that I see who have large social media followings, very like profitable businesses. Like, how did you, when you talk about skills at the age of like 18, and you said you had all these skills, what were they?
Yeah, dude. So overall, it's just having experience, right? And on top of that too, the environment that you're in. So I was in certain environments, and on top of that too, I had like a certain mentor, like my father, other people around me that, was built around like maybe the household I was in, just people constantly being around, like family, friends, this and that, uncles. Like majority of people around me were successful from my young age. And I tried to surround myself around that after I left high school, which was super important to me. And I feel like that, and by the way, I went to like a very normal South Florida public school. Like, so it was not like some ultra elite private school. Was none of that. Like, I went to a very basic private school, was never put into some like environment to like tunnel vision my reality or my view on like what reality actually is. Like, I was in a pretty normal environment growing up. Like, I was around very normal people, was around, rough kids, ghetto kids, really rich kids, all in one school. You guys can actually search it up. People, you could probably search up what school I went to, like the sports and academics I played. My school, what they did in South Florida is there was like some whatever bill or sanction, I don't know what it was called, but they like mixed both neighborhoods, like the more normal slash even to the rougher side of like South Florida neighborhoods, and then they took like a bunch of rich kids and put them all in one school. And it was actually a really good mix because I got to experience everything all in one. But mainly you build these social skills, you build your skills on like how to sell stuff, people skills, just everything by being around normal people, right? And then on top of that too, being around my dad, who was a great mentor, taught me a lot about what the reality of the worlds are through business. Because when you're doing business, you learn a lot about the realities of the world that not a lot of people understand. So I was taken out of that, what our generation, our social media people like to call the matrix, right? So I was like taken out of that at a very early age. And I guess you could say when you just talk to certain people around my age, they just don't get certain things. And I'm like, all right, it's like, okay, they just weren't raised in the environment that I was in. But again, like huge credit to my father, which I say this in like a lot of different podcasts that I'm in, but huge credit to him because he just pulled me out of like that mindset. And on top of that too, when I left school, when I was working, at certain companies and all this, it like just really, really fucking just took me to the like next level. And I was already doing like okay in terms of like what I thought was the realities of the world and all this, but I was just taken to like the next level after I left school, which they promote, you could be like 15 genders. They promote that, you can be whatever you want, all this bullshit that I don't believe in. Again, I have nothing against those people, but it's just, it's really hard to focus as a younger guy that's still trying to figure out your life if you have all this other bullshit thrown at you while you're still trying to figure out your life, right? So, yeah, leaving school, leaving public school, Man, I wish I would have fucking dropped that like earlier. I don't use any of those skills that I learned in school. And mainly, I don't think anyone that's trying to pursue anything on the entrepreneurial route will be using anything that they learn in public school. But going back to your question, like where did I learn? Like what skills do I have? Where did I learn all these skills? Dude, environment, YouTube, mentors, all that, and you can go into like marketing skills, selling skills, people skills, social skills, being able to communicate and sell products, and like just sell yourself as a person by showing people who you actually are. Framing all that, you know, and on top of that too, as I'm building all these companies out, like my journey so far, I've just built even more skills, like how to properly, you know, talk to VCs, how to properly network, how to properly provide value to people who are way more valuable than you. Like so many different super core things that are so important to like bring yourself to like that next level that I've just been learning along this journey also. Not even that I've had these skills before, but a lot of them I'm just still learning as we go. Like I'm just learning skills even today, just communication skills, how to properly talk on a podcast, like everything. So everything is super core and important. And when you're trying to build something, all those skills that you've ever learned as an entrepreneur kind of all go into one when you're trying to build a company or whatever it is. And a lot of people don't understand that. It's not just one thing, it's everything.
Yeah, man. So let's wind back a little bit. So you graduated, you graduated high school, right? You didn't drop out early.
I graduated high school like on like, I guess you could say kind of thin ice. Like I didn't really give a shit.
And that was, when would that have been? Was that like 2021?
That was like June 2021, yeah.
So you had just graduated high school, and then a few months later, you were obviously working in a good job, and then the opportunity to get into Web3 like came about. Can you see there's like the people that you graduated high school with, are you still in contact with some of them? And like, have you seen like you know, you talked about the matrix, and we'll get into that a little bit later, but have you seen like a split? Like you've gone down this path, others have gone down and the maybe traditional path. Have you seen that?
Yeah, actually to go back to what you just said, I was actually working while I was in school. So I was like skipping school a lot. Like hopefully one day I could pull up like my school attendance. Like I barely showed up to like school, dude. It was like really bad. And there was like some situations with my school when like, you know, something happened. So a bunch of kids got like a lot of free school time off. We didn't really have school a lot. So in reality, I probably went to high school for like maybe 1.5, 2 years, out of the 4 years. So like a bunch of different things happened, but yeah, I probably actually went to high school for maybe 1.5 years max, maybe 2 years. So I was working a lot during these times from like 17, 18, just learning a lot of different skills. And yeah, like every time I pull up to school, like not to sound cocky or anything, but I was like, bro, it's not really like, I just don't feel like I belong here. Like it's not really it. Bunch of people maybe focusing on like, you know, their next like Pokemon show or like whatever the fuck they're watching. I don't know, but it just wasn't for me. But what was the other question?
Well, okay,
oh yeah,
actually moves.
okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
You go.
I remember. Yeah, I mean, I do see like a little bit of a shift, but the thing is too that I wouldn't want or I can't expect everyone to be like on a similar mind frame or journey because everyone has their own thing, and that's super cool. Money, not everything's about money or like being popular or building businesses. Like everyone has their own role like in the world and in the society. Like if everyone were to want to do what I do, then what the fuck is special about what I do and what's special about what they do, right? So it's like I want everyone to be able to do their own thing, to be happy whether they don't know they're actually happy or not, or maybe they've never seen what's better and they don't know. It doesn't matter. Everyone's doing their thing. It's okay. I just mind my business. Everyone else minds their own business. But overall, I've just seen that there is obviously a very big shift. Even though I went to a school, there was some pretty high achievers at my school. A lot of different kids that came out either became like whatever, a celeb or like an actress or like a famous artist, this, that. There was a lot of talent coming out of my school. Again, it's South Florida. Like there's a lot of really talented things coming out of South Florida. But yeah, there obviously is a shift. I don't think anyone really ran any companies or anything like that were halfway successful out of my school so far from what I know.
Nice, man. That's a really mature perspective that you have about everyone having like their like role and place in the world. Like full disclosure, like I have that kind of understanding and perspective now. I'm 34 now, nearly like coming up to 35, and I probably didn't have that perspective until I was about 30. Like I was off the like, why the fuck would anyone want a job? Like why the fuck would anyone want to like do work for someone else's dream? And I was like, that's surely the only option. And then of course when you start actually doing entrepreneurship and actually fucking building stuff, you're like, okay, yeah, no, everyone does have a role, because you can't just have everyone just doing what you're doing, because like you said, then no one's special. So that's a super mature perspective. And yeah, let's talk a little bit about a couple of the similarities that I see, because you've said when we're talking about like this kind of new rich demographic, this kind of this generation of, a lot of them are creators. We've got guys like Aman Gadzi on YouTube. We've got guys like Sebastian Georgiou. I wouldn't be surprised if you're like you know them and you're pretty close to them. I think I assume that you already are. But one of the there's a couple of common traits or common kind of things with these guys. And I kind of walk you through them, because one of them is the classic, I didn't understand school. I didn't get on with school. It wasn't for me. And that's very common. That's super common. Another one is that they are from a family where they have had divorced parents, and they've either been raised by a single mum. And it sounds as if in your case that isn't the case. And do you have any like context around that? Like what because that seemingly is a big driver. Like there's kids didn't have money growing up, and they didn't have a kind of a congruent home. They didn't have like a mum and dad, and they are just driven. And I know a lot of guys that are like that. Can you talk to me a little bit about that? Can you relate to that at all?
So Amon and Sebastian's stories are really good. I've seen their stories, obviously, know them. They're cool people. But with my story, maybe what you would call like the struggles and all that are different. I didn't have some tough childhood, none of that shit. Like, not gonna lie about that. Never had some like rough upcoming. Did not have that at all. I had a pretty good upcoming actually. But the motivation and obviously what is behind me having such a drive to do so many different things is obviously a lot different. With them, I guess you could say wanting to take care of their mom, wanting to be able to, fulfill that father role, to be able to help the family and, provide finances and all that. That's for them. But for me, in my household, come from a Pakistani household. My mom is white, but my dad is Pakistani. Obviously, the father is the king of the household. He makes the rules. He sets the rules. That's how it works in the real world. With that, in the Pakistani households, the girls get like anything. I have two sisters. They get whatever the fuck they want, right? Not saying I didn't get shit, but the way that things worked is, bro, I can't just ask for something. Like, I'm not gonna get shit. So my dad was a very successful businessman. So growing up my whole life, I saw a lot of nice things. I saw like a lot of money too, but never was able to have it for myself, right? Was no free handouts. There was no, oh, here's some of this. None of that. My dad's a very generous guy, but there was no free crazy handouts like that. So me seeing so many nice things and me not getting handouts obviously motivated me to be able to want to have these things, because they're constantly in front of my face and the people around me have all these nice things, but I don't have them. And I was like, there is a problem with this. And obviously seeing these things makes it so more easier to like visualize yourself having that reality, because you see the people around you having that reality. And a lot of being financially secure or stable and all that is what you can visualize in your own head, because if you can see it, then you could most likely do it, right? So that was what was around me. So again, if you have that rich mindset, if you like adopt certain ways, and if you are around certain people, you're eventually going to become what's around you, right? So that was me. And on top of that too, was never given shit, so I had to fucking work hard for it. So I started working hard, worked at a fucking restaurant, like crazy fucking, like, got like no money from that shit. It was really bad. And then I started working a warehouse job, and then I started to work my way up, and then I started to work in my dad's company, started to work my way up there to a very high position, to the point where I was like his right-hand man at the business, was doing a lot of different things, running ads, managing their e-com stores, managing branding for one of the other companies. A lot of different things in terms of when I reached that higher position in his companies. That was when my skill learning was like taking to like the next level, because I was dealing with high level people, this, that, getting there with more experience on ads, getting this more experience here. So that was my motivation. Seeing a lot of nice things, but never being able to have it by never being given shit. So I had to work for it. And that's where I'm at now. Now, I speak to my dad, he mentors me with some things, and he has, he's had like a lot of money and all this type of stuff. So he's able to teach me ways and things to do and not do when you're first getting money, or when you're, you have like a good amount now, and now you want to know what to do with it next. Like, he's a really good mentor to be able to keep me on the right path. And that's how I've been able, I would say huge credit. That's how I've been able to stay so focused. You make your first big amount, and told my dad, he's like, that ain't shit. You didn't do anything yet. There's a lot more to do. I'm like, all right, cool. So he's super supportive. But yeah, again, you're gonna hear me a lot give a lot of credit to my dad, and I'm just super thankful.
Nice, man. I think I really appreciate that mature perspective because, yeah, like I said, there are like common kind of commonalities with like younger guys who have at least putting themselves out there. But yeah, it definitely takes a maturity to be able to come out and be like, yeah, that's not me. I've had a different story. I've had a different path. Can you do you know where do you have any sort of long-term vision or an idea of where you want to be like 5 years, 10 years? Is that something you ever think about?
Yeah, for sure. So this year I'm gonna most likely just buy my first house. Right now I'm renting a house here in Boca with my business partner Eric. But I do want to buy my first house this year. Also on top of that, I want to make sure that we can build the whole dark ecosystem, and also Dark Labs as the IRL sector as the hottest membership club in all of Miami, also the hottest membership club in all of Dubai, and we are gonna do it. But it's just how fast we can do it and how quick we can execute everything that we want to execute without making little mistakes that are gonna put huge roadblocks in front of us. I'm gonna be able to do it pretty quickly, I think, but it's just a lot of different hurdles that we have to overcome. But it's super exciting just to think where we're gonna be and what I've been able to do like in such a short time. I'm like, bro, fuck, in 5 years it's gonna be very 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 big. And on top of that too, it's like I see people around me that are killing it at like a really young age, and I just think, and I'm like, bro, in 5 years they're gonna just be fucking like so crazy, like killing it. Like it's that I can't even imagine where they're gonna be. And I like wonder sometimes, I'm like, do people like think of me like that, the way I look at these people? And I'm like, if that's true, that's like crazy. But mainly the only reason I would look at people that way is if I see they're working super hard. Because if they're working super hard and they're like getting shit done and there's constantly something new happening within their like life, I'm like, bro, what are they gonna be doing in 5 years? That's crazy. So that's a great question. But I'm definitely gonna be running the hottest membership companies in the world. On top of that too, we're gonna just be fucking killing it, giving people crazy access and be the guys who are gonna be giving people access, the people that don't know how to get access to certain things. A lot of people have a lot of money, but they don't have access or they don't have a network, and that's what we want to provide for our members in our club.
Okay, well, tell us a little bit more about this. So last week you launched Dark Labs, which is the kind of the next extension of your dark ecosystem. Tell us a little bit about what Dark Labs currently is in its current state and where you want it to be in like a year's time. And then, like you said, what is that 5-year vision? But like in an ideal world, what does it look like? Like paint that like vivid picture for me. Like, let's hear it.
All right, so this is really really important to like graph everything outside of Web3, because again, this is like real companies that we're running, right? We're not just running some like Ponzi bullshit that everyone else is dropping in the space. How I like to explain it to people that live outside of the metaverse, which is important because that's a very large, vast majority of the world. Very small amount of people on this planet live in the metaverse. Like, I've been living in the metaverse for a while, part-time. You've been living in Web3 life for, quite a bit. But we also live outside, right? We like live in both worlds. But when I step outside of the metaverse, I can't ignore, but I have to realize that people just don't give a shit about this Web3 stuff. They just don't give a fuck. So how we have to frame ourselves longer term is not in Web3 terms, but in real company, real life terms. So how I would like to explain our Dark Labs launch to the real world people is, hey, I have a membership company, and our companies all together, right? We have this thing called the dark ecosystem. We have different membership companies. Last week, we launched a new tier in our ecosystem that offers different benefits than our other membership. And this new membership is called Dark Labs, and it actually offers Web 2 and IRL access to members. And what we focus on is networking and providing real world access to members. So it's very elite. Every single person in there has been hand-vetted, hand-picked. And on top of that too, there's a lot of people that applied. There was a lot of demand, but we can only let in a very small amount of people. That is what Dark Labs is. And what we're going to be focusing on longer term is that lifestyle, luxury membership that's going to be attracting very high level people. But yeah, man, there's so much branding potential here, and there's so many different things that we're going to be doing. Even tomorrow, we have a commercial that we're going to be filming for Dark Labs. There's just so much potential here, and we have so many different big brand ambassadors that we're lining up currently. And we're going to be having this really cool affiliate system that's not going to be MLM style, but it's going to be super fucking cool, dude. But again, execution is the main thing. But I'm sure by the time this podcast comes out, there'll be some new things that have maybe been announced on our Twitter or something like that. But yeah, that's what Dark Labs is. And then Dark Echelon is our Web3 access and investment club That's a part of our dark ecosystem. And within the dark ecosystem, we have two main membership companies, Dark Echelon, Dark Labs. They focus on different things and they have completely different people. So that's what we have, man. That's our companies.
Awesome. Tell me a little bit about, you said execution. Who's executing all this for you? Tell me about your team.
Yeah, so we have a really good team. So we have different portals and different, like, I guess you could say, utility-based portals that we have running. I would say basically every single person that's running these portals, I can go through them really quick as I look through the Discord really quick, but basically every person running these portals has technically like made it in life type thing. They're all older, they've already amassed a great amount of wealth by doing different businesses and things like this, and now they want to work with Dark Labs to be able to provide their services. On top of that too, some of them are making money and monetizing off the Dark Labs ecosystem while providing immense value to the ecosystem. So they're providing their services, whether it's paid or free. But there's many different things like Dark Health. We have Oscar Vore running that. One of my friends met him actually in a mastermind event. We have Security Investigations panel being ran by Serpent. We have another Dark Capital panel, which basically you can get access to funding for your company, get your company acquired, all that. That's being ran by our boy Elvin in Dubai. We have this is actually part of the inner circle. We have Dark Web being ran by my friend Dark Millionaire, and then we have Dark Identities, which is something completely different, ran by my friend Enes. All these people are based around the world. Some of these people would like to, not be having their identity leaked and all that, but all these people are a huge part of our team. They're also helping us increase more access for our club. A lot of these people also are actively looking out for more things to be able to increase more for our club in terms of increase more access. On top of that too, bring more like of the right people in that we want. But one of the main people that we have as like our CMO at the current moment, which we're going to be bringing on an actual management company to handle our connections, and we're also going to be bringing on an agency to actually scale our organic branding on like the other side of the world, like Facebook, Instagram, and all that. We're going to be bringing them on about in a week. We're just figuring out the payment structure, which obviously can be a headache sometimes, depending on if they know you have a lot of money or not, which kind of sucks. These guys know that we have funds, so kind of sucks. We got to figure that out with them. But also me, I'm focusing on a lot of different branding stuff, right? So core, I'm CEO. I manage all the people within the club. I make sure everything is working, functioning smooth, make sure that all of our processes are in line, making sure that our financials are kept, making sure that everything is organized, which is something that I didn't do at Dark Echelon from the start. So in Dark Labs, we want to be organized from the start, not when we start to need to be organized or when things start getting hectic. We have to be organized from day one, which is what we have, which is great. We have everything on our Notion document. Our team sees everything. But yeah, dude, our team is crazy. Like people don't understand. And the brand ambassadors that we're going to be bringing on, people are going to be like, huh? How do you know that guy? And I'm going to be like, bro, you guys didn't understand. I don't live in Web3. I live in the world. I live in the real world. All these guys are my friends. So when people start to see the people stacking up that we're going to be bringing on, partnering with, they're thinking like, bro, how did you get that shit? Like, what the fuck? Like, how did you even partner with this company? I'm going to be like, bro, they know me. They like me. We're friends with them. It's all cool. And then from there, people will start to realize, but again, we're not really trying to target the Web3 audience anyways. This is a real world company. Dark Echelon is where we're really trying to hammer on that like Web3 audience. And we're going to be bringing out a lot of incentives for Dark Echelon, which is our other company, in 2023, which our roadmap for that actually comes out in January, late January of this year, which is in like a few weeks probably. But yeah, a lot of different things going on for Dark Labs and Dark Echelon.
Amazing. So you said that you're, like you mentioned a word there, kind of like very fast. You mentioned mastermind, and you also kind of like, it sounds as if people are like, how do you know all these people? You're 20 years old. Talk to us a little bit about how you know these folks. Is this also like the masterminds? Masterminds? Have you been on many? Like, what are your thoughts around those types of things? And like, are you social? Do you go out? Are you partying? Are you in the Miami party scene? Like, are you up until 4 a.m.? What's the deal?
Okay, yeah. So with the whole mastermind and like networking event thing, I've been going to these for like about like a year and a half, 2 years. This is something that I've always been like pretty avid on, to be able to build more connections for my companies and also to be able to build my own personal network bigger. I know that if I grow my personal network, and I know that if I build more friendships with people who matter on this planet, it's going to help the companies in return, no matter what I'm doing, right? So, as an asset for the company, as the CEO and all that, no matter what I do, if I'm improving in some way, these companies that I'm running will improve too, because I'm going to be applying my improved skills, my improved network, and my improved knowledge to everything I'm doing in these companies. A lot of people don't really see it that way. Maybe like CEOs, what they'll want to do is just invest all their time in the company instead of investing all the time in themselves, which they don't understand. In return, if they invest in themselves, the fucking companies will do better. So this is an approach that I took really, really serious about like a year and a half ago. I started to really dumb down on like going to these events. I started to go to like some Bitcoin conferences, went to some crypto events. Then I started to get like higher level, meet more higher level people. Then I started to go to these private events, these invite only events with like, people who are making millions of dollars a month. There's different events where they like
Yeah.
gate it. Oh, you have to make $1 million a month to go to this event. You have to make 5 million a year to go to this event. Obviously, some of these events I wasn't even qualified for. I just knew the right people to be able to get into them. But yeah, now I've been really dumbing down on that. And then there's some really expensive ones where you have to pay a lot to go to them, which is really good. I like actually because it eliminates the people who aren't really serious about like taking their business to the next level. It takes them out of the equation. So everyone that that's going to these events, they're all very serious, and they've all invested such a large amount of money to go to this event that they're not fucking around. They want to take advantage of every little thing possible, which is good. So that's what I've been really serious about. And going into and then going into that, I've met a lot of people that have been able to benefit our businesses. In return, we provide tons of value to them. So that's where I've met so many of these people. But just on top of that too, like people just don't understand. Like the past year, bro, like my Calendly has been full like every fucking day. It's like crazy. We're just hopping on calls with new people, hopping on calls with companies, whether we give them like free advice on like this and that, or whether they're just telling us about their company. We're networking. They pitch their company to us. Maybe they want funding. Bro, it's just so many different things that we're hopping on calls for, and so many different things that I'm involved in. It's just been able to like increase everything that we've been doing a lot more. And the great thing too is there's the word of mouth effect where people, if they have a good experience with me, they want to go tell their friend, and maybe they have a lot of high level friends, and it just works that way. So that's how I've been able to build this network up super big. I don't always bring it into Web3. A lot of it is like in the real world, maybe like Web2 stuff. So I don't always bring my network into like things I do, like in this Web3 world. Sometimes I keep the relationships strictly in the real world or strictly in Web2, but it's just been super good with that. And then going into like what I do, like partying and all that stuff. Currently, dude, no partying. Haven't been to a club in a very long time. But yeah, I'm just not really into that life. I have a girlfriend and all that, so I just kind of like to stay inside. And what I mean by stay inside is just like focus on the company, or if we're not focusing on the company, what we do is we go ahead and go to the gym. We stay healthy. We like to eat really, really, really healthy. I live with Eric, so that's why what I mean by we. And then also we like to go and do Top Golf. We have memberships at all these different like fun places and shit like that. But we'll pop up to like a cigar lounge. We'll go to this thing, this beach, this restaurant, and everything that we're doing is super calculated to be around the people that we want to be like. The gym that we go to, everyone has Lamborghinis, everyone has Ferraris, everyone has fucking Rolls Royce. We want to be like that, so we want to be around that. Not saying that we're like not anything maybe on their level. I don't know. I don't know what fucking level. I met some of these people at these gyms. They have like 500 properties in fucking Boca, like crazy shit. But we just want to be like these people, so we stay around these areas, right? Everything that we do, we just try to emulate what we want to be like. And it's worked pretty well because we're starting to learn a lot. We're starting to meet a lot of people. Even like 2 days ago, met some guy that does some crazy shit, some crazy company. His girlfriend was like, you wouldn't even believe how dripped out his girlfriend was. It's crazy. Some old guy, but we became friends with him. Now this is just what we do. And again, the area, our places that we go to, everything that we try to be around, and like the restaurant, everything is we want to be like that, so we have to be around that, and we want to stay like that, so we have to be around that. So if you're constantly hanging around like lower level people, going to like lower level restaurants and doing like lower level things, like your vibration in your body and who you are and like how you like act and how you do things will be like lower level. And it's just this is how the world works. So we understand that there's no shame to anyone that's doing lower level things or anything, but it's just a strategy that like me and my team use to be able to keep ourselves at like that very high standard, so we can keep operating at that high standard, so we can keep everyone in our companies at a very high level.
I fucking love that mentality, because to me it reminds me very much of and you'll obviously probably will be working with a lot of these brands in the future, but like the luxury industry. The luxury industry over the last like few years has been the only industry that has managed to like completely not only like get through all of the global health pandemic stuff, but like prosper. And profits in the luxury vertical in the last like couple of years have been through the roof. And that's because ultimately when you are like targeting to be the best, and you're like, we need to just be up here, quality matters, the people that we hang out with matters, the places that we go to matter. That's like something that just time and time again has been proven to like keep you there. Like you will stay there if you associate yourself with that kind of level. Where did you get this mentality from? Like, did you is this your father?
So I had like a self like realization. When I go back to like when I was in school, right? So I see how like low of even a person I was, like the food I was eating, the people I was around, the people who are teaching me, all this shit. Nothing bad about them, but again, it's just what I did not want to be, right? So when you're around that, you think lower, like fucking bro, you should have like some of my views were completely different, like super recent too. And it was, maybe some social media things, maybe what I was watching and consuming on social media might have an effect to how I think now. But mainly what I'm thinking of, or mainly like the whole perspective of how I've changed is, bro, I just was taken out of a completely different environment, was put into a business environment, and then my entire mind, like everything changed. It was crazy. Like, and I'm so thankful for it because it was so bad in the path that any younger guy would be going on if they were stuck in public school, around maybe like a super, you know, today modern type of social media bullshit crowd. Like that's what you don't want to be around. Like as a guy, it's actually very damaging, and a lot of guys become like abnormally weak. It's like fucking really bad. And then when you get placed into a business environment where things are all about accountability, making sure that you're, taking care of your actions, being responsible, making sure that the people around you are being taken care of, a family environment, team environment, like your whole world changes. So me just understanding that and how my entire life changed that way, I wanted to make sure that I never went back to that, and I wanted to make sure that I remain at a very high level, and not just remain, but also increasing my, etiquette, the way I speak, the way I deal with higher level people, even learning different things too about different religions. When we're dealing with high level people in, the Middle East, we have to know how they conduct business. When we're dealing with Jewish people in Miami, we have to know how they conduct business also. It's different everywhere. So we're just learning about different people. Me and Eric, we're learning about how to conduct ourselves around different people, not about how we change ourselves, right? We're not trying to change and be like fucking chameleons and shit out here, but what we're doing is just knowing the proper etiquette on how to deal with certain people, which is obviously, shows respect on our end. We're just trying to make sure that the people around us, feel comfortable and all that, which is just been able to take us to like that next level. Yeah, dude, I think a lot of people don't really think that way. They don't understand that, which is cool, but we just really want to like nail down everything to the fucking head so we can make sure that we can, bro, when we're 21, 22, we're going to be like going crazy. So that's what we're just trying to focus on. Again, as we're trying to focus on our companies, trying to focus on ourselves, trying to focus on how we do things, how our environment is. It's super important.
We're living in a pretty crazy time at the moment, and one of the craziest topics has been the kind of like the social media rise and subsequent, at least what it seems like, is fall of Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan Tate. I follow you on Twitter. I see you engaging in a lot of Andrew Tate stuff. You obviously come from an Islamic background. And can you tell me a little bit about how you feel about the situation that's going on, the cancellation that he went through earlier this year, and like how you think this is going to turn out?
Yeah, great question. So first of all, I would like to say that Andrew Tate, I think, and actually I know is a positive force for majority of men. Like he's telling you to work out, he's telling you to take care of your girl, telling you to do all this different stuff that I don't really see a negative effect for. Now, where I can understand people seeing that maybe, he might be a negative is maybe like little kids watch it, they take it out of context. They watch the out of context videos, the ones that are just completely taken out of context where he says like, oh, choke the bitch and shit like that. Yeah, that like, bro, like people took it out of context. Like, how is that his fault? It's not his fault. So, maybe he's being sarcastic or whatever, and people take that out of context. Like, how is that his fault that people took the clips out of context? And now little kids are like, interpreting all this the wrong way because it's fucking taken out of context. But I've had similar experiences too, where, bro, like even recently when I was dropping Dark Lab, some dumb motherfucker dropped some thread about how I'm a scammer and shit. I'm like, bro, are you serious? He put few, he'd say like I founded few or like I promoted few. Like, bro, it's not even my fucking project and I had no involvement with that shit. And even all the other projects, I'm like, bro, I know the fucking founder of that shit. I've never even spoke to him in my life. And then he said some of the projects were a rug. I'm like, bro. So I kind of get it. And the thing is, people look at things at face value and just see and hear what the media says. Like, oh fuck, hate this guy. But overall, there's a certain type of people that are not happy with themselves and that are just super out of shape, ugly as fuck, or whatever it is. And there's a huge crowd of those people that just really hate him. But dude, overall, if you're into working out, if you're into like other stuff like that, and if you're not lying to yourself, what he says, like, work out, take care of yourself, be a man, all that. It's just common sense, bro. Like, this is just how the real world thinks. We live in this metaverse society in fucking US and the UK and like Australia and all this shit. Bro, if you go anywhere, even like in Muslim countries and all that, like people don't play around with that shit. And I think it's good that people keep their family tight. People believe in their faith and believe strong in their faith. And on top of that too, keep their friends near them, keep their brothers near them, their gym bros near them, because if you don't, you're gonna get dragged down into like this really bad rabbit hole of like social media and all this shit. So I think family is the most important thing right now in this generation, because it's gonna start being separated very easily. Social media and all that can really take you away from your family, whether, they feed you differing fucking ideas and ideologies and shit, which make you not want to, believe in what your family believes in or whatever it is. But I just think religion, family, brotherhood, it's just more important than fucking ever, man. And we just got to take care of the girls around us. We got to take care of the people around us. We got to take care of everyone around us, because right now, very easy to just, have your whole mind view and change and shit like that on social media, especially like the younger kids. I have a younger sister in high school, and I try my best to tell her, dude. I'm like, bro, like, just try to keep your head forward. If you need anything, please let me know. But a lot of the things that you're gonna be seeing on the internet in the next couple of years are just complete bullshit. So I just hope you don't believe it. But yeah, again, just best thing I could say is, as a man, take care of the woman around you. Make sure that your brothers are okay, and make sure that you're improving every day. Because now's a time where if you're a strong guy, you're gonna be able to dominate. Because there's a lot of weaker guys around you. But yeah, again, overall, I think some people take things to the extreme, and some people take things to the extreme on this end, that end. Don't be an extremist, but overall, take things for a grain of salt and apply it however you would like, and make sure that you're thinking with a critical mind. And if you have an opinion, make sure you believe in that opinion strong, but also be open to the opposing side. And if the opposing side makes sense, don't ignore it, realize it, interpret it, and have a conversation about it. So that's how I would say things. Be an adult. Don't be a little fucking kid that's gonna cry and scream about everything. Like we see people on social media. Don't go on a tweeting war. Don't go on a Twitter war. If you don't agree with something, think about it for a day. And if you still don't agree with it, all right, don't agree with it. That's what I would say. But the Andrew Tate shit, I think is innocent, to be honest. Innocent until proven guilty. Something that this world doesn't really practice anymore. But yeah, innocent until proven guilty, man. Those guys are a positive force for the world, I believe.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out, and I think it's a really moderate stance. I think I agree. A lot of his stuff is taken out of context. If you watch the full, I watched the 3, 4, 5 hour podcast interview he did with Patrick Bet-David, and I watched the entire thing, and I don't think I could disagree with any single thing he said in the entire thing. That's like 5 hours of him talking. So yeah, man. You are a content creator. Are you going to be doing more content creation? How is this? Because you mentioned something, right? Like stuff taken out of context. You're about to go on like a tour of the world, do loads of podcasts and stuff. Are you thinking about this stuff now? Are you like, I need to make sure that what comes out of my mouth cannot be misconstrued, or are you just like, fuck it, I'll just say whatever?
So most of the time, I just gut it and say it. But I believe that one day something will happen to me where some bullshit gets taken out of context, and then I'm really gonna get like hit the hard way and realize like, yo, I gotta chill out. But I don't believe I'm like some big famous guy, or like I'm not really that popular to like be hit that hard anyways. So I don't really think it matters. But one thing I don't want to do is become famous. I do not want to become like overtly popular like these guys, because I don't know how they live with all this shit of constantly being bashed and like the wrong thing is taken out of context and all this shit. Like I definitely don't want that. But yeah, I think I probably should not censor what I say, but make sure that the words and the way I'm delivering it is, proper form. Because if something gets taken out of context to a max extreme that makes me look like a piece of shit, it's not going to be good. But also it's like, you do have to kind of speak your mind. I believe that, if you constantly put on a mask, you're eventually going to get tired of it. And, what's inside is going to get depressed, and, you're not going to feel good. So I don't think, censoring everything you say is that good. If people that are around me in a person, they're just used to me really being like blunt and shit like that. So don't think it's good to like kind of change my personality and all that when I go on the internet. But yeah, again, the internet can be pretty scary, so you just got to be careful overall.
Yeah, are you looking to continue creating? So from my perspective this year is that I've entered this year with like I have this like kind of pay me first mentality where I'm going hard in on content creation that's going to essentially help my personal brand. And in turn, like you said at the beginning of the interview, if you feed yourself and your personal brand, that ultimately ends up coming back to your business. Have you got intentions to like continue creating? Are you still on that hype? Where are you at with it?
Yeah, so right now, everything that we're trying to do with our business actually does not require anything from me at this current moment. What we're trying to pull out, what we're trying to scale and brand out, gives me about like a 2-month pan to where I'm not going to really be doing anything on social media in terms of like branding myself on YouTube and like Instagram and all that shit. But I do plan on growing my audience pretty soon. But the thing is that once we do roll it out, it has to be consistent and it has to be with a full scale team to where everything is being automated at its proper levels. Every single person has their own job to be a part of the content team. Right now we're not ready to scale that out, but when I do scale it out, it'll be like big and quick. It'll go very, very, very fast. A lot of people, when they want to grow their personal brand, they just don't know how to do it. We have an entire team actually that'll be doing with like alongside me. Like it'll grow pretty quick. You'll see it. It'll probably happen Q2 of 2023. But yeah, right now I just can't do anything with personal brand because I know I'm not going to stay consistent on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably Q2 2023. But yeah, dude, right now it's just like we don't really need it because what we're trying to do is like a lot of internal stuff. We're trying to refine our product and all that, but a lot of people grow their personal brand to whether they have the ideology of if you have 1,000 solid people that like stay beside you like no matter which industry you go to, you'll be like set for life or whatever because you could just sell products or like provide value to them however you would like. That is great ideology, but right now I also do want to be known mainly by higher level people that are in the business world, and that requires a lot of off social media activity, which is what I'm really focused on too. So kind of juggling both balls here. That was no homo. Kind of like juggling a few different things here. But yeah, overall, probably going to be taking back to social media heavily, like on content and all that Q2. But yeah, it's going to be cool.
So I think that's actually like quite an important learning because I made this mistake last year. I tried to do both, and then it just ended up being nothing. Like it was just nothing because there was no focus. And when you're trying to build a business, I think it's for any business, it's so time consuming. And I'm working my Saturday, you're working Saturday. I'm going to be working tomorrow, Sunday as well. That's just the reality. I was working till midnight on a Friday last night. Like it's just the reality of building a young business. So knowing that you're like, okay, well, I'm just going to wait. I'm going to because I cannot be consistent because that is ultimately what it's about, is being consistent to grow on social. Can you give a little bit of an insight into, okay, well, in Q2, with the social media just set up at the moment, what will be your priorities like for you? Like, have you got an idea of that yet, or have you not thought about it?
For social medias?
Yeah, as in like what kind of channels would be the ones that you would focus on? Like, where would I see Ameer Hussain's like name or face or voice like popping up in like Q3?
Yeah, so we're gonna be focusing pretty heavily on IG stuff, like IG Reels. Also, not just with me, but me and my face representing our company. So it won't just be like my personal brand. Like I said, tomorrow we have a company coming over down to where we are to be able to film some stuff for some commercials and all that. So hopefully that'll be ready. We're gonna reserve that content for later on once we want to go full scale. But with the company and the agency that we're gonna be working with once we sign our deal, or if we choose a different company, we'll be doing pretty much the same stuff but with a different company. But a lot of what they're focusing on is Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. A lot of it is Reels content, but then a lot of it will be like longer form content. Also on top of that too, the podcast that we'll be doing. There's certain things that we're going to be branding. Also, there's certain strategies that we've used that I'll actually tell you after this podcast that are really fucking like overpowered. And we have a lot of powerful people by our side supporting us that are kind of like behind the curtains that are going to be helping us push a lot of things out too. So yeah, a lot of stuff will be branded under like the Dark Lab socials that you're going to be seeing rolling out. But also a lot of it too will be brand ambassadors pushing out stuff for our brand. And then me too, I'll be talking about a lot of stuff on my personal channels, but mainly I do want to keep like my Instagram and all that, like kind of how it is. but just maybe grow it a little more. And then on top of that too, Twitter will just be not only be talking about Web3, we'll be talking about a lot of other stuff. But in terms of like the marketing plan and like the management of the socials and all that, I'm not going to be handling that in like probably a month or so. I'm going to be just completely hands off with that. We're going to be having our team handle all that for like one of the first times ever, which will be great. And I could just focus on even a lot more stuff. Because I've been just really focused on like social media strategy and all that for Dark Echelon for so long. And that's how we got to like the levels that we got to. Me and our former internal operations manager, his name was Liam YSL. Before Charizard came on, which was our other new internal operations manager. When Liam was on, me and him strategized so many different social media strategies to push Dark Echelon to like that next level, and that's how we got there. So instead of us doing it, we're gonna be having a company do it now. But yeah, man, there's so much synergy to like push short form content for anyone's company nowadays. It's crazy. Clothing, music, you can like hint things into like, you know, fucking other people's shit. So it's super cool. There's so much potential.
Okay, like I know, I mean, I don't know if you can relate to this, but personally, I find this like the game business is extremely addicting. And it's what allows me to like stay up late and work on the weekends. Like I just fucking love it. Like I love this shit. But I also do love a load of stuff outside of this, but I don't get to do it that much. Tell me about the stuff that you love outside of business and the stuff that we talked about. Like, what are these? You mentioned Top Golf earlier. I mean, I love golf. That's my other passion. What kind of shit are you into?
Yeah, so I like to play basketball a lot. I was actually in like a semi-pro league. The season just finished before Dark Labs launch. I'm gonna flex on you guys. I average like 20 points, 20 rebounds a game, so we're doing okay. Used to play in high school, but then didn't really enjoy high school basketball too much. But then I came back. Yeah, I was playing in semi-pro league. It's called Ultimate Hoops. Pretty fun stuff. A lot of former NBA players, a lot of like current D1 basketball players, all that stuff. So I was playing in that league. Just finished. Did pretty well there. Might be doing it again, but again, it just depends on how busy I'm gonna be this year if I'm really gonna sign up again. And then also some other stuff we like to go. Yes, Top Golf. Eric is fucking loves Top Golf. He thinks he's a pro and shit. So we have our membership there. He bought like the Platinum Diamond membership. I don't even know what it's called. So he enjoys that. He likes to flex on it if a girl comes over here and there. But yeah, that's mainly it, dude. We like to just go eat really good. We make sure that what we eat is really intentional. And we're trying to build our education on what we eat and obviously how we're supposed to be properly eating to be able to optimize our bodies at the highest rate. But then also networking in a lot of different IRL meetings. I think it was 2 days ago. We had like 3 meetings back to back in Miami, like back to back to back. One of them to bring on a new brand ambassador for Dark Labs. One of them we actually hung out with our friend who just opened a restaurant, which actually helps us out with our Miami concierge at Dark Labs. So we were supporting him there. We gave him a nice gift while we were there. And then also we were with one of our Dark Labs / Dark Echelon members, hanging out with him in Miami too, just talking about some synergies with some, can't be speaking about it too much on the internet type stuff. But a lot of different things. Then we had a meeting with this girl to talk about some stuff. Actually, that was 4 meetings back to back to back to back in like one day. So that takes up our literal like entire day. Like we can't even have meetings and shit like on Zoom. Like that's how busy, like for example, that day was, because we're just getting a lot of IRL shit done. And people, again, they'll be like, oh, you're not on social media, you're not on Discord, what are you doing, Ameer? But bro, I'm getting shit done in the real world to be able to transmute it back to our company so we can get more things done and expand bigger. But yeah, so our meetings and our days and our schedules and our gym shit, like all of that is basically what we do on a day-to-day basis. And it adds up, and it does take up a lot more time than people realize.
Are we going to see each other at any of the like Web3 events this year? Have you got any plans to get involved?
Yeah, so if we're going to do anything at these Web3 events, I might as well we're probably just going to go big with it and just have an event there for Dark Echelon, since Dark Echelon's like the Web3 company. So that's what we'll be doing, but mainly I'm not too interested on like attending all of them, but there was some talk about Paris and all this shit, so I might go there. A lot of people are asking if I'm going, so I might go there, and then Dubai potentially for some Web3 stuff. But overall, dude, how I like to travel and how I like to do things is when I'm traveling to a certain place for any specific reason, I like to make sure that I have other shit set up there when I go there so I can get a lot more done. So I'll set up like a lot of IRL meetings with whatever connections I have in that city. And whether I have a friend that like lives in that city that's like a higher up, I'll be like, yo, set up any meetings that you could possibly can in this city. Also set up some podcasts with whoever the fuck, I don't care, just set up some podcasts just so I know I'm getting some stuff done and it just gets done. And when I show up, there's like a bunch of people waiting for me. Like there's a car outside waiting, pick me up, bring me to this place, bring me there. So that's how I like to travel, because you feel like you're getting a lot done, and also you're having fun while you're working, you know. So it's like that like little balance for me. But yeah, we'll probably see each other in maybe Paris. I think I heard you're going to
I'll be at
Paris,
Paris. I'll be at Paris. I'll also be at Toronto. So I'll be in either May or June. But like I know that's your style, because when I was in New York City for NYC, like you were the ghost of that conference. Like it was
Bro,
like
I was trying to link up with you guys.
Dude, everyone was like, is Ameer here? And then everyone would be like, yeah, I think he is, but he's just not anywhere. Like, and you know, we'd all be hanging out, and you were the ghost of that conference, man. You were the one missing out.
On everything, I was trying to link up with you guys, but there was some issue with miscommunication or something like that. And then I heard something like someone said I didn't want to hang out with you guys, but I was like, bro, I was literally texting and calling, trying to hang out with all. I know you guys were like a group of like 6 or 7, 8 people. I was actually trying to. You guys were like in Central Park or whatever in New York. I was trying to link up, but something happened. But yeah, just for example, like when I went to New York, we met up with one of my friends that was completely like not really NFT native stuff, but like he's like in the Web3 space. He's a guy from Singapore. He actually came over. He needed some funding for his company that he was going to be launching, some art company, like where they do fractional edition of art. But again, you've heard this idea a million times probably, but he like, there's like next level shit to this, where there's like billionaires and like 100 millionaires like involved, where it's like different. It's not like Web3 people. It's like big boys involved in some VC shit where he's doing art fractionalization, where, you know, the whole different thing involved. Really, really cool stuff. So I was with him, having a meeting with him, and then I had a meeting with our lead director or head advisor, whatever you want to call it, of Dark Echelon, Kendrick Wong. I guess he's like a billionaire from what I heard. But again, I don't know. He like obviously he's not going to tell me that, because I don't know any billionaire that will be like, oh yeah, I'm a billionaire. But that's what I heard. I had 2 meetings with him, which were very important to be able to settle some stuff. I also learned a lot of things from him. And then we had some other meetings too with the tools company. So dude, I was just like packed on meetings, like the actual private meetings. And then from there, we didn't really attend like events and all that. We try to attend one event, but I guess something happened with like the timing and all that. But yeah, again, as you just said, like that's how I like to set up my travels. Just like set up all the private meetings, knock them all out, and then if we have some extra time, we'll like attend some, you know, parties, whatever. But besides that, it's pretty crucial just to like knock as much as you can out of the way, because a lot of people will go there, have fun, but then they come back, but they didn't learn anything or they didn't do anything. So you're like, bro, what the fuck? Like I went there, I paid to do this, but nothing got done. So we don't want that happening, because I made that mistake before. I went to the first NFT NYC back in, or I don't know if it was the first one, but like the OG class, whatever you want to call it. It was like in August of 2021. I went to that, and I remember I got nothing done because I was scared to like talk to people. I was like, bro, these NFT people, there's like, bro, I've like never dealt with NFT people. Like all these people are so rich, and I was like, bro, it was some weird shit like going on in my head. But I was like, bro, this is like so weird, bro. Like the NFT people, and I saw all the Bored Ape holders. I'm like, bro, they're like Bored Ape holders, bro. They like don't want to talk to me. So that's how I was my first time. And then after that, I'm like, bro, I can never do that again. So now we just get everything done, and then we're like pretty productive on our travels.
Nice, man. Well, I look forward to seeing you either at Paris or at least meeting you at some point this year. But man, like,
we will.
Ameer, thank you so much for spending time with me. Is there anything else you'd just like to say to anyone, or like just before we end this?
Yeah. So for everything now, I guess you could say, for anyone that's looking to take themselves to like the next level, or anyone that is on a pretty high level, or, you know, they really want to take themselves to like that next level, separate yourself from what you're currently doing, from your current environment, from your current habits and patterns, and just try to break those patterns and habits for at least a couple of days, just to like reflect and realize everything you've been doing for the past year, for the past couple of months. And just look at yourself, look at your company, and look at the people around you, and just analyze what's, you know, where are the bottlenecks, where can I improve things? And from there, write it down on a piece of paper and give yourself some goals, some 6-month goals, some 8-month goals. Share with some friends and keep yourself accountable, and, you know, try to elevate yourself to that next level, dude. But yeah, besides that, that's my best, you know, piece of advice I could probably give, some best last words. Just want to make sure that anyone that can listen to me can actually at least try to learn something or elevate. And from there on, you know, it's a journey. Everyone's learning. No one's like a god. No one is smart. No one knows everything. Everyone is just learning. You know, people have parents and they think like, man, like they like know everything. But bro, it's like crazy to think too. Like I heard this quote somewhere. It's like our parents are experiencing today for the first time ever, so they're still learning. So it's a pretty crazy thought, but everyone's still just learning. Not everyone knows everything. Everyone's learning as we go. So that's it, guys. Stay humble.
I love that, man. Thank you very much. And hopefully we get you back on this at some point and maybe do an in real life one at some point. That would be fucking sick. So, dude, Ameer Hussain, thank you very much, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much.
Peace.
I hope you enjoyed that show. If you haven't already done so, hit the like button down below. Make sure to subscribe so that you can learn from the very best that I'm going to be interviewing at the Summit Club. If you didn't know this already, I also have another podcast called The Unorthodox Podcast that I do with my co-founders, Liam and Mark over at Unorthodox. We're a Web3 marketing consultancy. If you want to go check it out, it's quite a lot of fun. If you want to learn a bit more about crypto and everything Web3, that's the place to come check it out. We interview some of the most interesting people within Web3 and also executives across some of the biggest brands on the planet. Come and join us. The links are also going to be down below in the description, and I'll see you next time.